Hello and welcome back to another episode of Insufferable with me, your host, Lindsay. How? Who else could it be? I'm the most insufferable bitch on this planet. Let's go. Okay? Actually, not a flex. That's actually not a flex. I probably shouldn't be that proud of that. But you know what? I am who I am. And you're here for a reason. So you like a little insufferable take, and that is why we are here. That's why we are all here at episode 19. We're almost to 20 episodes. That's crazy. That's crazy, and thank you for being here. You may notice that I am wearing a beanie today, which means we are approaching cozy season, which is the best news that we could have, actually. Kind of sick of the heat, and I'm ready for a little cozy time. I woke up this morning to take out my son, who is here joining us today, Frank. He is sleeping. But yeah, I went to take him out this morning, and it had been raining. Like the ground was wet and the clouds were plentiful and the sun was not shining through. It was giving very gloomy, very overcast, a little chill. And I thought, wow, okay, we have reached the part of the year that is my favorite part of the year. I just like to be cozy. I just like to be cozy. I am always sweaty. Well, I don't want to say I'm always sweaty, but I'm always clammy. And that's because of my stupid thyroid. I've got hypothyroidism, little diagnosis drop there for you. Probably talked about it before on this pod. But yeah, hypothyroidism makes me really sensitive to hot and cold. That is why I prefer perfect weather. Um, Sue me. Don't sue me. I don't have legal representation. But what I'm saying is, it's nice to transition seasons, okay? You go super, super hot, in August, and then we are in September. It's a little bit warm during the peak of the day, 1 p.m., but it be cooling off, and we're riding with a little, 76 high. A high of 76, that's actually like, still pretty hot in my book because, of my ailments. But today we have she really said 71. She really said 71. That's all we're giving you today. And I said, bitch, that's all we need. That's actually all we need. So thank you for that, Spirit. Yeah, the weather is good. You'll also notice that I'm wearing different glasses. You might think they're new glasses. They're actually not. These are actually from 2018, and they're an old prescription that, no longer works for me, but I did have to pull them out of the archives because my other glasses no longer fit me. They keep sliding off my face. So I had to switch glasses. But guess what? I got my eye exam, girl. I've been trying to get an eye exam for the last year and a half, okay? But I just did not have the funds to do so. So I put the eye exam on my list of manifestations. And you guys know I've been really good with my manifestations. So I put it on the list and I got it yesterday. Someone else paid for it for me. God bless. God bless the spirit that's looking over me for whatever reason, dude. I'm over here living in gratitude and I'm being rewarded for doing so. Okay, I'm rewarded on a daily basis. I don't have resentment and jealousy. I don't have fear and anxiety. I don't have, I'm not projecting onto people about, their choices or whatever. Not that I necessarily projected on people before, but, when you remove that kind of feeling, or when you have those jealousy feelings or whatever, like they kind of tend to take over. And if you hold on to those and you practice that, like you're a practicing hater, it's not going to serve you in the long run. You can, continue to hate, be jealous, project, have resentment and all that kind of stuff. Like if you continue to feel that way about stuff, um, you're not allowing any blessings to come into your life. Okay? That's just my personal opinion on how I've been living, in the last year. I've been in my gratitude era. And for that reason, I have just been, I think it's for that reason I have been blessed left and right. I know there is a letter that I wrote to myself during like an eclipse or an equinox or some kind of portal or whatever the fucking TikTok bitches are talking about. If some TikTok fucking astrology bitch is like, oh, there's actually, here's what's going on in the planets, this is a perfect time to manifest blah, 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 or this is a perfect time to let go of this, or this is a perfect time to start something new, whatever, bitch, sign me up. Sign me up, girl. You don't gotta tell me twice. If there's something that I could utilize in the planet system to get me what I want and need in my life, sign me up. So there is a letter that I wrote to myself during some fucking portal or whatever. You're supposed to write a letter to yourself, basically saying that you have the things that you want. Like you write a letter to yourself like, oh, that's so cool that you're making $20,000 per month. I know you always wanted to do that. Yeah, congratulations on your creative job that you landed. You were trying so hard to get that creative job. I see that you're doing that now. Congratulations on that. I love that you bought a home. You love homes and interior design and blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? You write a letter to yourself, basically like that future version of yourself has everything that you currently want. And you write that letter, you fold it up into a cube or whatever, and then you, do some kind of ritual or whatever. There's several kind of things you could do. These witchy girls will teach you on TikTok. And, then basically you let it set and you date it for like a year from now. So you would date it like, September 10th of 2026 or whatever. So in the next year you can open that letter, and then a lot of those things should have happened for you if you were in my opinion, deserving throughout the year, and let go of your jealousy and your projection and your resentment and all that kind of stuff. Let go of that, live in gratitude, appreciate what you have, and just, try to, romanticize what you do have. And then you should have all of those things. So I actually do need to, there is a letter somewhere in this house. I don't know where I damn put it because it was from last year. But I know what I wrote in that letter, and I know that there are a couple of things in that letter that I currently do possess. Okay? And some of them are a little bit silly. Maybe not silly, but like just some things that are kind of like, wow, girl, you really wished for that. Like you put that on this letter. Yeah, girl, I really wanted that. I really wanted that. And I got it now. I've been getting it, by the way. You know what I mean? So, yeah, there are there are some things in that letter that I would like to read and kind of check off the list of things that came true. You know what I mean? Because I've just been checking off manifestations left and right. And thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Spirit, for giving me everything I need in this time. I've been very I've been doing well, despite still not having a job. And that brings me to one topic that I had to update you guys on, which is I told you in the last episode that I had a job interview that went very well. And I thought, this is my dream job. I'm overqualified. I'm passionate about this. job, title, and I would be perfect for this, and it's flexible, and the interview was amazing, and I answered all the questions like so good and professional and passionately and whatever. But it turns out, girl, they will be going with another candidate. Who would have thought? I feel like you begin an interview and it doesn't really matter how fucking well it goes. It really doesn't matter. They will be going with another candidate, even if there are no other candidates even available. You know what I mean? There's nobody else is even in line, and they still don't want you, or they don't want me. I don't know what to say about that except for thank you, Spirit. You know what I mean? Maybe that job wasn't meant for me either. The job was actually pretty sick though, and it's a job that I pitched already in my own words to a restaurant that I used to work at, Seabird's Kitchen. Shout out. I miss you guys. The location here in Long Beach is closed now, but back in the day when I was a server at Seabird's, the owner, who is a very bad bitch named Stephanie, she allowed me to, take care of the plants in the building. Okay. And I know that that was actually a plus for her. So she didn't have to do it. So by her, allowing me the chance to do that is actually, only really benefited her. But, shout out to her. I love her. But yeah, I was, I had 2 serving shifts there, and it was, a lunch shift on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So it wasn't incredibly busy. Maybe it was busy for like 1 hour out of my shift. So I did spend a lot of time watering the plants. Seabirds does this really cute thing where they pot little succulents in tiny little terracotta pots with a little succulent in it, and that they give you that for your birthday. If you're celebrating your birthday there, they'll bring you a little thing of ice cream with some chocolate on it and a little candle or whatever. That's your free, dessert. Usually most restaurants do a free dessert for birthdays. And then we also gift you a little succulent in a cute little terracotta pot. So I would spend my shift harvesting succulents and clipping succulents, drying them out, and then potting them in cute little terracotta pots. She also allowed me to design and install the whole succulent garden out front. We were like, we need to be able to get more succulents for our birthday things. So there was like this big plot of, dirt out in front of the restaurant. And I was like, we could totally like do a whole succulent garden out here. And I will go to the nursery and get everything we need. And then I will come back here, on my day off, and get paid, obviously, to plant all the succulents, design, curate the layout. And, she gave me a budget and she paid me. And I did that, and that was fun as hell. And so I was like, I don't want to be a server anymore. I just want to come here 2 days a week and take care of all the plants. Water the succulent bed, harvest some succulents, set up a little thing for them to dry out. Maybe we could grow some damn basil or, mint or rosemary, and we can use it in the dishes or whatever. Like, I was really trying to be like the plant lady of Seabird's Kitchen. It wasn't in the budget, like what restaurant can even afford that? But I made a pitch. I made a pitch to be a plant care technician, basically. It didn't work out, but I was like, that's my dream job, is just to go around taking care of plants. Can you imagine? So once this ad came up on my freaking Instagram for that exact job for this company that literally just like supplies and or rents out plants for office spaces, rich people's homes, mansions, spas or whatever. Like if you walk into a business and you see, a giant fiddle leaf fig, it's probably either bought or rented from this company, and this company hires plant care technicians to come by those businesses and then, take care of the plants, prune them, water them, fertilize them, whatever you need to do. There's probably some kind of schedule or whatever for each plant. So that was the fucking job. Girl, I would just be driving around to office spaces and watering plants. What a fucking dream. What a dream. The only part that sucks is I do not have a car. So I was going to have to beg my dad to let me use his truck, which can't pass smog right now. So the tags are expired and he can't get his tags on because it won't pass smog. It's a whole thing. I don't know if you guys ever been in smog jail before, but it is tragic. So I was going to have to really pull some strings to get a car to be able to drive around to all these locations. But I was like, you know what? I'll figure it out if they give me the job. So I got an interview. That is the third interview I've had since January. And I've been applying to a lot of motherfucking jobs. And the fact that I've only had 3 interviews since January is crazy. But it's nice to get one. It's nice to land an interview. It was a little Zoom interview, it was a little Zoom moment. He asked me some fucking questions, and I answered them very well. I even told him I'm a natural green thumb, okay? That's why I have plants tattooed on my thumbs, okay? We are a plant lady. I could do this job. I could do it well. You know what I'm saying? So, but it turns out they went with another candidate, and I'm not going to think too far into it. You know what I mean? They probably chose somebody who lives closer to the area in which needs to be serviced. It's neither here nor there. I did not get the job, but hey, I'm grateful for the interview. And yeah, that's the job update. We still don't have one, but guess what? I'm still grateful to be here. I'm still under my roof. I still have amazing friends. I still got me a Disneyland pass, girl. I'm still getting my dream body. I'm still able to, go to the gym, which I will be doing after this because I've been going with Sierra, my girl. She's always texting me if I want to go to the gym, and I really fucking appreciate that because I do not have a car to drive there. So it's nice that, maybe I don't get to go as often as I want to or the exact time that I want to, but that actually doesn't really matter as long as I get to go. That is the vibes. So, yeah, I've just been in my gratitude era. I know you guys are probably listening to this being like, damn girl, you are beating a dead horse with the gratitude of it all. But I fear that's what you have to do. I fear you have to live in gratitude and preach it. I think this is probably why people get really when they find religion and it sort of serves them in a way that it's kind of improving their everyday life, and then they kind of want to preach to you about how Jesus saved them or whatever. I get it. When you feel really good and you want other people to feel good, that is actually a sick situation. And so that's basically what I'm doing now. I'm a newfound religious girl. And by religion, I mean the spirit, whatever that may be, whether that's Jesus or not. I mean, who even knows? I just know it's something that's looking over me and watching over, my every move. And, gifted me with the things that I need. And I really needed to get that eye exam, girl, because these glasses do not work. Okay, it's better than having no glasses on, but yeah, these are they're not the right prescription. So I really had to get that damn prescription, and and I did. And someone helped me with that, and praise God, or praise Spirit, or whatever the hell people say. Speaking of God and the Spirit, did you guys get raptured or nah? Because spoiler alert, if you're seeing this episode right now, you probably did not get raptured, girl. I'm so sorry. I do not think they would show this channel in heaven. I don't know. But actually, leave it in the comments. Do you think they would play this show in heaven? I bet they're thinking right now, well, no, not that you're, thanking Spirit for everything when it was Jesus who did that for you. So they're probably kind of They probably got some beef in that way. But yeah, I don't know if they would show this channel in heaven, so I think we are not raptured. But I'm pretty sure I got raptured, me and the girls, because on Tuesday during the rapture, allegedly, the alleged rapture, I went to Disneyland with my girl Sierra, her sister Amber, and my friend Amber. Okay, Sierra, Lindsay, and the two Ambers. And that was the best squad I could have ever imagined going to Disneyland with. I mean, these girls are aligned in all levels of the spirit world. It's crazy when you associate with other people who are also living in gratitude. And you know what they say, misery loves company. Like, I get that. I've been depressed before, y'all, and I'm not saying I'm safe from not getting depressed, again in the future. But misery loves company, and when you are surrounded by people who are, either depressed, I'm not blaming them for being depressed. I'm just saying I'm saying I spent time with three women who are aligned and funny and fun and enjoyed the time. And not to mention, it was Sierra's birthday, and she deserves everything under the sun good to happen to her, because she is a divine feminine soul living on this earth, and we're all lucky to be associated with her. Okay, so celebrating her was easy. Okay, we want to celebrate the people in our lives that fulfill us. And her sister Amber is fucking awesome too. And I love my Amber. I want to spend more time with her all the time, but she is like a working professional. And so yeah, sometimes it's hard to get together with people when you're adults. You know what I'm saying? You really have to figure out the schedules and, take time off, get that PTO and, the whole nine. So when the schedules finally align, that is divine. Okay, and so on Tuesday, I spent the day at Disneyland celebrating Sierra's birthday with all of those women. I felt raptured. I ain't gonna lie. We had the best fucking time ever. It was the best time. I can't even describe it. We were so freaking, we just had a good time. And I felt raptured. I felt like we were in heaven, just hanging out together, girly pops, doing a little, Disney trip. And we were also seemingly followed around by spirit. Okay, we got to go on every single ride we wanted to go on, and there was nothing over like a 35-minute wait. And we got to go on the Rise of the Resistance, the Star Wars ride, twice. The first time was a 35-minute wait. Okay, that never happens. It's always like a 70-minute wait for that. Okay, we got to go on it 35 minutes, in, out. It was amazing. Okay, it was Sierra and her sister's first time ever being on that ride. And it's really fun to be with someone on their first time for that ride. Because it's so incredible. That ride is amazing. And so, yeah, we got to do that. And then later, down on the day, we were like, should we try to get Rise of the Resistance one more time? Like, we should try to ride it one more time. We went over there and they were talking about 35 minutes, and we're like, that's fine. We'll wait another 35 minutes. That's fine. But it turns out there was actually no line. 35 minutes was a lie, girl. We walked straight onto the ride. It was not even a 5-minute wait to get on it a second time. Okay. Also, I went on the Incredicoaster, which, if you know me, you know that's pretty intense for me. I do not do roller coasters, but I was feeling brave. I was feeling protected. And I was like, you know what? Let me just fucking see. Let me just see if I'm even scared of this or not. Turns out, yes, I am. I am scared of roller coasters. I'm just not a thrill seeker. I am glad that I went on it. It was very fun. But the feeling of falling is not really great for me, which is why I do not do Guardians of the Galaxy, aka Tower of Terror. Do not sign me up for that. I will not be going on. I did wait in the line with them, and then I was having a panic attack thinking like maybe there is no exit, and all the cast members were ensuring me that I could exit right before people board the ride. But for some fucking reason, I was having a panic attack that I was going to be forced on to the ride. So, and that's an irrational fear. That's an irrational fear of mine, is being forced to do something I don't want to do. And the line was like 25 minutes long, and I was like, I'll just wait for you guys. But there's like kind of like two tiers to it. Like you walk into one room and Rocket from Guardians of the Galaxy is trying to tell you that he needs you to get somewhere because your palm scans and his doesn't. He needs you to go in there and get something or whatever. You're on kind of like a little side quest for Rocket. And then you go on to the next portion of the line, which is, going upstairs and getting into the line or whatever. And then at that point, they open the gates and then they load everyone onto the godforsaken elevator. As soon as those doors open, everybody goes onto the elevator, and the cast member told me that, when the doors open, like instead of going onto the elevator, you can go to the right and there's a staircase that leads you down. I don't know why I didn't believe him. I thought he was setting me up. I thought he was tricking me because he knew I was scared. And I was red, and I was just like low-key freaking out that I wasn't going to be able to escape. And the only way to escape was to get on the ride. And I don't know why. That's irrational. That's irrational for me to freak out in that way. But that did happen to me when I was young, too. I went on Tower of Terror when I was like 14 or 15 or whatever, when we used to go to Disneyland a lot, okay, when they first came out with that ride. And I hated it. I am not a fan of falling. Okay, a free fall, miss me with that. So after I went on it and discovered that I do not like it, of course, every time we go back, everybody wants to go on that. So it's one of those things where it's like, do I wait in the line and exit later, at the last minute, blah, blah, blah. And when I was young, I was waiting in the line, and I had a panic attack again because I thought I wasn't going to be able to escape. I was like, I need to get out of here. I need to see the staircase and know that it's real so that I know I can escape before we get on this ride or somebody forces me on this ride in my irrational fear. And so while I have been able to escape in the past, for some reason, that experience did not transcend into this experience, and I once again had a panic attack thinking, can I escape? Are they lying to me? Are they going to strap me in and make me fall? So yeah, but spoiler alert, I was able to escape. I can confirm there is a staircase to the right before you get onto the elevator, the godforsaken elevator that's going to make you free fall. So if you are worried about waiting in the line and thinking that you're going to be forced onto the ride like me, probably not, because that's irrational, but I can confirm there is an exit before you get loaded on. So yeah, I didn't go on that, and I was able to escape, but they had a really good time, and that was fun. But yeah, I did go on the Incredicoaster, and I felt very brave. I felt very invincible after. I even looked like I was having fun in the photo. So it's just one of those things. It's not the speed that really gets me with roller coasters. It's the going way up and then like shooting down. That is something I'm not interested in. I don't know what it is. I just am not a thrill seeker. I do not need to live on the edge of death to, feel alive. My love language is quality time. So if I have a good time with my family or friends and everyone's in a good mood, and there's banter and we're roasting each other and everyone is having a good time, that makes me feel alive. Okay, that is my love language, quality time. No doubt about it. um there are 5 types of love languages. I don't know why I want to talk about this for a moment. And you know what? I would like you to leave in the comments, what is your love language? You know? So is it A, words of affirmation? I actually love that. That's great. Physical touch, not me, girl. Do not touch me, please, unless we are banging, then yes. But I do not really, I mean, I do like a hug. But yeah, I'm not a big cuddler. I don't like to cuddle. I'll hold hands, but yeah, really, like I mentioned, I'm kind of always clammy because of my stupid thyroid. My body's I'm always like kind of in a hot flash. So I do not want to be cuddled, and I also don't really like PDA that much. So physical touch, that one's not for me, but maybe it's for you. Acts of service, we love acts of service around here too. I love a man who would change the oil in my car for me, and I didn't even have to ask because he keeps tabs on my car and what it needs. He can hear my brakes squeaking before I can, and he fixes them. He takes my car and fills up the gas, before I even wake up in the morning. That type of shit, first of all, is hot. Secondly, we love that. We love acts of service. Okay. You change my oil in my car, I will make you banana bread. Okay. We can, trade services. I'm fine with that. I'm not saying, I'm the only one who gets, serviced in that area. Next up is gifts. Gifts is fun too. I like to give gifts. I think I'm a good gift giver. And receiving gifts is nice. It is nice. It's definitely not in the top, not even the top 3 love languages for me. But gifts is nice and it's sweet. It's a nice gesture, even like flowers. I fucking love flowers. Fresh flowers in the house, girl, there's nothing like it. There is nothing like it. And when someone else buys you flowers and you get to, have them in your house, that feels good. That feels good. So I don't know if that falls under gifts. Probably. Flowers probably falls under gifts. Quality time. That is me. That is my love language. Quality time means more to me than anything. And I'm not even talking about romantically. I'm talking about my dog is fucking knocked out. I'm not talking about romantically, like with my man, I have to be spending quality time, even though I do want to be spending quality time with my man. But I like to spend quality time with my friends. That's why I like going to the gym with my girls. I like to, go to Target and lollygag with one of my bitches, or one of my gays. Just going to a coffee shop and chit-chatting. Every time I get to hang out with my friend Amber, like if we go to dinner, it's like the server comes by like 7 or 8 times. We're not even ready to fucking order yet, which I know is very annoying. Like from a server perspective, that's really annoying. But from my love language perspective, I'm just like really spending time with my girl here. We are having quality time and we haven't even looked at the menu yet. And I am so sorry. And I know that is annoying, but hey, I'm getting my love language in right now with my girl. So there's that. So yeah, that is the love languages. It looks like there's 5. Words of affirmation, physical touch, acts of service, gifts, and quality time. So tell me what your love language is. How do you like to show love, and how do you like to be loved? I think that a lot of people get those two confused. Like, I asked somebody what their love language was before, and they were like, I just like to buy you things. I like to gift things to you or buy you a service, buy you a massage or whatever. While all that is great and dandy, and keep that up, to be honest, I meant how do you like to be loved? Not how you like to love others. How do you like to be loved? Because you can continue to buy me stuff. That'll be really great. I am in my receiving era. I'm trying not to feel guilty every time someone does something for me. That's actually a big issue that I have. Like when people gift me things or pick me up, give me a ride, pay for something for me, I feel an enormous amount of guilt. And even if they have never made me feel guilty for it, I naturally feel guilty when people spend their time, money, or resources on me. That's makes me that kind of ties into my hyper independence, because I just don't want to burden someone. You know what I mean? I don't want to be a burden on anybody's life. And like the last two times I went to Disneyland with my family, and my brother just paid for everything for me. He knows they ain't got no money right now, but he was just like, yeah, I'll just pay for you. And I'm like, are you sure? Because I could just not eat. Like, and he's like, dude, you do not have to worry about it. Like, I got you. And I'm like, all right, let me go ahead and just accept that. Right? Let me go ahead and just say, wow, he's just being very generous and very nice. And, he even got me this Disneyland pass. So he's in his giving era. I'm in my receiving era. And he's being very nice to me. And I'm going to accept that. Okay. Sometimes I have to sit down, you know, get into my head and say, hey, this is actually okay. This person is being nice to you. They're being generous. It's actually okay that you accept those things. You receive that. You can give back when you are able to. When I have money, I will be buying him a burger at Disneyland that costs fucking $21. I will be buying him a $19 beer at California Adventure. When I am able to give back financially, I will do so. So yeah, that is actually really nice. Um, for me to I just really need to tune in and actually do it. I actually have to say, hey, thank you, and that's it. I actually don't need the guilt. I don't have to feel it. It's not even for me. The guilt is not for me. I don't know where it came from. I always feel like everyone is struggling for money all the time. I have never known like a person who is like, money ain't a thing. I've never known anybody like that. So if you're, spending your time or money on me, I'm like, time and money, time costs money, and money is expensive, right? So let me just be in my receiving era and my grateful era, okay? So, that's really nice. So anyway, quality time, yeah, acts of service, physical touch, absolutely not. Words of affirmation. Words of affirmation is actually really good too, and I feel like I don't want to put a blanket statement here, but I feel like a lot of men, their love language is words of affirmation. And then probably next up is physical touch, which, gross. Well, not gross. Just don't. I will touch you in certain instances, okay? But I will not be cuddling you throughout the night when it's hot as fuck and the AC's not on. I'm just so sorry. I just don't want to be skin to skin while I'm trying to sleep. I also do not want to share a bed with you. So there's also that. Like, you're sleeping in a totally different room if you're with me. So spoiler alert. If you're putting in an application to woo me, you will be sleeping in another room. So there's that. But yeah, I think a lot of men like words of affirmation. I think they just want to be appreciated and, needed. And I think we're at this, part of our culture and our society that women are so hyper independent because um they don't want to feel trapped in a situation where they don't have any independence, and that kind of sucks. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to ever be called or be seen as a gold digger, which most men who call women gold digger ain't got no gold. You got nothing to give, you don't even have any money, and you're worried about me taking like the little amount of money that you have. I don't want to take your money, and I don't ever want to be framed as a gold digger. Okay, if your love language, if you the way you like to love is buy me stuff that makes you feel good, to buy me a massage or send me to the spa or get my nails done or whatever, if that fulfills you, that's not me being a gold digger. You want to give to me, I'm in my receiving era, and that's how it is. But yeah, I think a lot of women are kind of scared of like being accused of being a gold digger, and as a result, they become hyper independent. You know what I mean? They get their own money, they get their own job, they get their own house, and they don't have to worry about if, we break up, then I will have nothing. You know what I mean? That's why it's like, ideally I don't ever want to work, and I, want, some sort of support from something. Like, I don't really want someone to like support me financially, like completely. That's a lot of stress to put on another person. But I also don't want my partner to be working their ass off all the time in order to support me, because guess what? My love language is quality time. If you're always working and then when you finally come home you're like exhausted, that's kind of a bummer for me, because I thought, well, maybe we could go out, we could see a movie, or we could go on a cute little hike with the dog, or sit next to the babbling brook and talk about, the stars or whatever. That's what I want to do. And I can't do that with some fucking man who's working all the time and is always exhausted. You know what I'm saying? I need you to like work for like a couple of years of your life, save up your money, invest it, and not have to work as much, because I'm trying to do quality time. So yeah, I don't know why I got off. That's not even on my list of things that I wanted to talk about. Oh, what I wanted to talk about with Disneyland and be sorry, my dog is so passed out right now. It's funny. I wish you could see how he's laying. I don't think you can from this angle, but he's freaking KO'd. At Disneyland, we were eating breakfast as soon as we got there, and we were just chit chatting about animals, like what kind of spirit animal are you? It's kind of casually, and it just barely came to my mind that my friend Amber, her spirit animal is a praying mantis. Okay. I don't know why it came to my mind, but I was like, she is a praying mantis because she is divine. And I honestly get the feeling that she would rip your head off after she's done sleeping with you. You know what I mean? Because like she's just like a really powerful woman in my eyes, in my opinion, the way I see her. She's not violent, but she's just powerful. And I'm like, I think you're a praying mantis, girl. And she was like, really? She low-key disagreed. She was like, are you serious? Like, praying mantis? Really? And I was like, yeah, I really think so. I don't know. It just came to my mind. Like, I think you are. Right after I say that, a praying mantis lands on the umbrella pole on our table and is literally just hanging out there for the remainder of our breakfast time. What the hell? I'm not trying to be superstitious, but yeah, I'm a little stitious. And that was divine timing. I've never even told her she was a praying mantis before. It just came to my mind. And after I said it, a praying mantis came and landed on our freaking table. What, girl? Girl, what? That's called alignment. That's called we are aligned. Everyone is aligned. This conversation is aligned. She can't even deny her praying mantis power now. Okay. That is her spirit animal. Okay. What is my spirit animal? A Hyrax. Okay. And if you don't know what a Hyrax is, look it up, because none of the other girls knew what it was. And I'm a Hyrax, yo. A wah wah. That's who I be. Or any kind of rodent creature, actually, at the end of the day. A rodent creature is what I'll what I will be at the end of the day. Yeah, what else? Job interviews, stove burner analogy. Oh yeah, so the stove burner analogy is something I wanted to talk about. because of the following reasons. You know how sometimes you have, something, say you have your job and it's kind of like taking a lot out of you. You're working in a corporate environment. Your boss and your coworkers are always stressing you out. Like there's always some kind of Teams notification. You got to jump on a Zoom. You got to circle back. You have to do KPIs or whatever. And you actually also simultaneously want to train for a marathon. Okay. And then work stresses you out so much and you start doing overtime um, at your job. Sorry, I think I have a cat hair in my nose. It's like itching me. You're working overtime at your job, and so you're stressed. And so the um, marathon training gets put on the back burner because you just have too much going on at work and you can't really separate yourself from that in this moment. Maybe there's a big project coming up or whatever. It's kind of, you have to put all your focus on that. And I was just talking someone basically off the ledge about what they're struggling with, and I'm like, not only do you have all four burners going on your stove, they're everything's burning on the stove. You have everything. One of these has been simmering for 10 years. One of these, the flame is way too high. You're spending too much time on it. The other one, the burner's not even on. So it's not cooking at all. It's just sitting there raw in the pot. And you need to figure out a way to put the energy on the burner that means most to you. So say you have, your job on this, the bottom left burner, and then on the back burner you have your art career. Okay, say you're an artist. This is just an analogy. And then on the bottom right burner you have you know your family life. Maybe it's kind of like you have a lot of responsibility within your family. Maybe you're a parent, or maybe you just have, there's drama within your family, and you're kind of like, stuck in the middle of it or whatever. And then on the back right burner you have exercise and wellness. Okay, and you're trying to figure out which burner deserves most of your attention. Like you want to put more effort into your fitness because it's going to improve your life in other ways, and give you more clarity, and you'll be more um in the present moment, and you'll be healthier, and you can get off your medication or whatever it may be. Like you want to put more effort into your wellness, so you put that on a good simmer because it's something that you need to tend to often. Okay, you have to frequently stir that. You can't let it be on the back burner, just burning at the bottom of the pot. You have to actually tend to that. We're on a simmer. Okay, but your work burner is on high and it's smoking. Your smoke alarm's going off, and it's kind of all you can think about, and you don't even have time to stir your health and wellness over here. And then over here with the family situation, the burner's not on. You're not addressing the issues within your family, or figuring out a way to work through whatever it is that whatever's happening within your family, or what. Everybody's got family drama, and it's you haven't even turned that on yet because you have your smoking, burning work life, and you're trying desperately to stir your health and wellness pot. And then meanwhile your art career, or say you training for a marathon, is on that back left burner, and it's on medium heat, and it's not yet boiling. There's not really a whole lot going on with it. You could probably crank up the heat on the art career and crank down the heat on your work life. That this is just an analogy about balance and putting your energy where it will serve you best. And sometimes there's something in the oven that you don't even have control over, but it's in the oven, it's cooking. It could be getting burnt in there, it could be, black on the bottom, stuck to the pan, something you need to let go of, or maybe move it up, to the burner, take it out of the oven or whatever. I know I'm kind of like getting I'm getting a little carried away, but when I was talking to this person who I was trying to like tell them, this analogy, I feel like I'm really good with analogies. I guess you be the judge because you're kind of listening to this one. Um, you have to think about these areas of your life and what burners are off and which ones are on, and which ones are burning and which ones aren't moving at all. You know what I mean? Like, you really have to like kind of look at it. I almost brought out a whiteboard for this because you have to, but it's not hard to imagine. Everybody knows what a stove looks like, okay? Um, Reassess your burners, reassess, how high or low they are, if they're on or if they're too high, if they're burning or if they're not cooking at all. you know it's okay to turn down the burner, um and crank up another one, or vice versa. But I think in this particular analogy that I just laid out, I think we would really want to turn down the work burner. Okay, work is never as important as your boss would like you to believe, unless your work is directly related to your personal, creative endeavors or whatever. Say you are, your work is you are the owner or CEO or whatever, and maybe that is the biggest part of your life, and that is the burner that you need to spend the most time on, and all that kind of stuff. But you have to remember to stir your health and wellness pot, because it is simmering. It's a slow burn. It cooks slowly, and you have to frequently stir it. You can't forget about it. Okay? So I just wanted to bring that to the pod, and have a place for it, because ever since I said that, I've been thinking about that for myself. While I was basically giving advice to someone else when I came up with that analogy, which obviously I didn't come up with that analogy. Putting stuff on the back burner, that's like, people have been saying that for a million years. I'm just putting this person's personal experience into the perspective of the stove burners. You know what I mean? You are paying too much into work. You're not paying enough attention to your art career. Your health and wellness is kind of, it's been simmering for a long time. You're not stirring it. You need to figure that out. You got something in the oven that has been in there too long. You need to take it out, maybe flip it, put it back in, or whatever. So it is kind of nice if you just take the time. This is my call to action. If you just take the time to articulate the things, areas in your life, and what burners they're on. What burner of the stove is this on? And can I crank the heat, or can I turn it off? Is there something in the oven that I could throw away? I don't need this anymore. Actually, the oven doesn't need to be on. It's too hot in this house. You know what I'm saying? If you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen type shit. You know what I'm saying? So take some time, and figure out what your burners look like, and are they serving you right now? Are you spending the time that you need to spend on the burners that matter the most to you? Some of this stuff that you're going to have on the stove is sort of out of your control. I feel like the stuff in the oven is more so out of your control. So that's something, if it's in the oven, it's probably something that you don't have much control over, and you need to just really keep an eye out on it, and make sure that you're acting accordingly to, ensure that it doesn't burn or blow up or anything like that. So yeah, just take a moment to see what your stove looks like. At the end of the day, you are the chef in this kitchen, and you know you deserve to make a full meal at the end of your life. Okay? You're at the end of your life, you should have a beautiful meal. Is it plated amazing? Maybe not. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. Maybe you don't have, garnishes on it, and you don't have a damn souffle or whatever. You don't have a reduction sauce that's, shaped in a little teardrop or whatever. But do you have a good meal at the end of your life? That is actually what matters at the end of the day. Okay, and I hope that this resonated with you, because if it didn't, that's actually pretty embarrassing that I went off on that tangent. Okay, that would be very, very embarrassing for me if that did not resonate. But if it did, or if it didn't, you can roast me in the comments if you want. If you're roasting me in the comments about my analogy, that is in my oven. Okay? That's in my oven. That's not really something that I can control. You guys roasting me for something that I said about, the burners on the stove or whatever, that is out of my control. It is in my oven. I can turn it down, but that's kind of on you. So that is what my stove is looking like. Well, I didn't even say what my stove is looking like, but maybe we'll go into that in a different episode. But my stove right now, I feel like everything is simmering pretty good, and the fragrances are filling my home. Okay, when you cook with garlic and onion, or if you're baking cookies and the whole house kind of smells good because of that, that's where I'm at on my stovetop. Okay, I'm, I'm chefing it up. I am Ratatouille. I am Remy. I am, yes, chef. I am the bear. Well, I'm not the bear because I'm not type B, so I'm very type A, so I'm very Remy with it, okay? I'm Ratatouilleing my stove, and I'm making sure that everything is taken care of. I am stirring my health and wellness. I am nurturing, my high burners, which is my, creative, direction, career, and stuff like that. I have a pot with finances in it, and the burner's not on. You know what I'm saying? The burner's not on the whole finance situation, but the house still smells good. The house still smells good. I'm feeling good. I'm appreciating the smells that I do have, and the pots that are on, and the stuff that is cooking. Okay, so take a moment to figure out what your stove looks like, and let me know if that helps you, or if it doesn't. Let me know. But anyway, that is going to do it for me today. Thank you guys so much yet again for tuning in to another episode of Insufferable with me, your host, Lindsay Howe. And subscribe to the channel. We are almost at 100 subscribers, which is my goal, to get to 100 subscribers before the end of the year. And we're at 98 right now, girls. So 2 more people could help me reach my goal, by the end of the year. So there's that. We have the event with Sierra coming up in November 8th. Save the date. Follow me on Instagram if you want updates on that. It's a merch drop. The merch is very cute. It has been revealed. You can also see that on Sierra's Instagram. So check it out. And let me know what you think. Let me know if you want to come to the event. And that'll be it for me today. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you next week. Okay, bye.